What's happening, y'all? Welcome in. This is another day of Snaps, January 2nd, 2024. Happy New Year. I don't know which all of you we hung out with last night, so perhaps this is our first time
this morning
speaking in 2024. Yeah, I'm on the East Coast. I think Aaron into the show about 1:30, 12:30 over here. Yeah, just a hell of a weekend for college football as the 4-team playoffs said, fuck you all, we're going out on top. I mean, 4 conference champions from 4 different conferences, all like really good teams with no dominant favorite one. Finally, the yoke of SEC oppression is broken to quality semifinal games, much like the Pac-12. The 4-team playoff format going out burning bright like a comet hurtling through the sky. Just very fun and good football and a ton to get to today. I'm T-Bob Hebert. He's Aaron Murray. Ooh, 12.2 subscribers. Almost at 12.5. What's up, Aaron? How we feeling today?
I'm feeling a little tired, but a lot of caffeine, feeling good, ready to go. And as we start to break down this, what we anticipate a really good, entertaining national championship at the end of the week, obviously most likely better than what we had last year with Georgia and TCU. I think you bring up something interesting, and just to sidetrack real quick, sidebar, the 4-team playoff was tremendous this year. And obviously we do anticipate a really competitive game between Washington and Michigan. Do you think the 12-team playoff will treat us as well next year?
Yeah, no, look, I am, I don't know if I'm being a bit bullish. I think we might've touched on this last night, so I apologize if you're listening to the pod, but I think we're heading for a potential golden age where instead of all of these elements coming together to create a further concentration of power at the top, what I've really learned now in the small sample size that we have in this new age is that no, we've been living in that hyper concentration of power, and now it's actually spreading out a bit. And more teams are able to win and more teams are able to be competitive, and it's a more even playing field. And granted, this could just be how it worked this year, right? Because Georgia looks like they're building a fucking monster, and who knows, maybe they'll be the clear favorite or something. Like, I don't know, right? I don't see Michigan slowing down anytime soon, but I feel like, no, more often than not, the 12-team playoff is going to deliver great games like we saw yesterday, and that these blowouts will be fewer and farther between.
Well, and I'll say this too. On top of that, the entire bowl season felt like it was more competitive than in years past. Like, we had our occasional blowout here or there, like obviously Georgia, Florida State. We had our Tennessee versus who did Tennessee play yesterday?
Oh, they beat the fuck out of Iowa, dude.
Oh yeah, just crushed Iowa. Like we're always going to get that. But I did feel like from the start of bowl season to the playoffs last night, it was a way more competitive season of football games. Because I felt like I kept seeing a lot of people saying like, "Oh, for all those damn haters who hate all these bowl games, like sit back and enjoy everything." And I agree with that. Like I thoroughly enjoyed this bowl season. I feel like every time I turned on a game, the majority of the time it was a competitive 4-quarter game that was worth my 3 hours of watching.
The bowl debate is so fucking dumb and so overblown. And so is this idea that people don't care, that players don't care about the bowls. Like, yeah, some NFL guys who have to be worried about their future, protect their future, they may choose to do that. And like, whatever, you know who does fucking care about playing? Their backup. Who's been a backup all year long, but has still been running sprints, has still been lifting, has still been practicing, but hadn't got any of that game day glory. Like, you know who even cared in the Florida State game? The kids that went got their ass kicked. They still liked being on the field. Like, they wouldn't want to skip the game. Yeah, no, fuck that, dude. You wouldn't want to skip the game. You even played all year.
No. Those kids definitely want to play.
All I'm saying is, like, just miss me with any of this. Like, we need less bowl games, or they're not fun, or not even the fun thing, that people don't care about them. That's just such.
What I would say this, like the games that everyone wants to go away, which are the lesser games, the ones that we all kind of like make fun of the names of. Those are the games where you do get more, I would say, more competitive games, because there's less first rounders on those teams that are opting out. Like, you have full rosters and guys that are, 7-5, 8-4, maybe their first bowl game ever, like the excitement of being on the road with their boys, all that stuff. Like, you get, and I had 2 of the games. Like, I had 2 games on the 23rd and 26th, And hell, like there was like 3 or 4 fist fights during those games. Like those dudes wanted to win.
Yes.
Like they were talking shit during the pregame. Like I was like, damn, like this is for real, for real. Like these guys, they ain't come here just to collect the check and have some fun and get some cool gifts. Like they want to walk out of here with a damn W. And I thought both the games I had were really good ones as well. So no, I'm with you. Like from top to bottom, kids want to enjoy it. Kids want to play football. You're gonna get the 1% to 2% that their agent hits them up saying you shouldn't play. And, it is what it is. It's
and
just
that makes sense, dude. That makes sense, dude. Like Jaden Daniels should not have played, right? Like these guys that sit out, it makes sense. First off, a couple things to chat. Shout out Mac Lindsay. He said, watch LSU get the dub then both games with my brand new baby girl. One New Year's Day. Hell yeah. Congrats. And then Blake's right. He starts, Blake Walters says, but he ends with only the big boys who miss out on the CFP have a ton of guys sit out. Yeah, like the dirty secret is the only teams or games that don't feel like people care about it are the New Year's Six that aren't the playoff games. Because those are generally massive brands that had playoff in their minds all year long. They have the most NFL prospects who have the most vested interest in not playing in that game. So it's just like whichever New Year's Six game doesn't have the playoff that year, that's actually the game that probably the teams care less about.
And I'll say this, like, I don't think opt-outs are the biggest issue. I think it's the portal.
Yeah, that's also fair. I
think to me the bigger problem is the portal, because if I think Ohio State's a prime example of that. Like you knew you weren't going to get Marvin Harrison Jr., but if you could have gotten a couple other starters who weren't transferring out, especially your starting quarterback, maybe that's a different ball game versus Missouri. Like to me, that's the thing. If I have to correct going forward, it's not okay. Because I got asked this question about an hour ago on a local Atlanta show. Like, how do you solve this whole problem with the bowl system and of guys not playing? I was like, you're not going to prevent the 1% to 2% guys, the first rounders from playing. Because even if the bowl, because everyone's like, well, have the bowl pay the players.
It's not that big of a deal, dude. Just let them fucking go too. No, I know. I'm sorry.
There's not enough money. There's not enough money to incentivize a first rounder to come back unless you're going to pay him $100,000, $200,000. Like you're not going to prevent those guys from sitting. If you don't want to sit out because you're a first rounder, you're not going to play. But you need to change the calendar where the opt-outs is something that happens after the bowl season, so that a roster can be
not the opt-outs. You mean the transfers?
Transfers.
Yeah.
Yes, the transfer portal. Like that is the bigger issue compared to the opt-outs.
100%. All right, we've spent too long on this, but yeah, I think this is all a lot of hand-wringing kind of about nothing, except for, as Aaron said, change the calendar. Yeah. William Anthony says Michigan's defense was fun last night. 7 sacks, forced fumble. And he's absolutely right. I was rewatching the film of the first half yesterday of that Michigan-Alabama game. And, that's a fun and complete Michigan team. The way that they were able to rush Jalen Milroe, disciplined rush lanes, smart looping over the top to kind of funnel Milroe into these alleys where a defender would be waiting on him. Really solid coverage on the back end to allow them to a lot of times attack Milroe with 5. And then, just fantastic. Also just pure pass rushing in terms of winning these battles early on. So now I think as we start to look forward to Washington and Michigan, Aaron, the question becomes, Michigan's defense looked incredible in their pass rush and stopping Milroe. Michael Penix Jr. looked incredible at avoiding the pass rush. 0 sacks for a Texas defense that probably should have had about 4 or 5. But not only was Penix avoiding them, but then he was still making plays downfield. So if we saw both of these elements look so good in their respective games yesterday, as you look forward, who wins that battle? Because it's a different beast rushing Michael Penix than it is Jalen Milroe, and you play him in a different way. So how are you scoring this thing early on?
Well, it's also, I went back and looked at the schedules for both teams. Like, has Michigan faced an offense like Washington?
No.
Not a single time. Like, let's just go through their schedule. East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, Rutgers, Nebraska, Minnesota, Indiana, Michigan State, Purdue, Penn State, who can't throw the football. Maryland's probably the best passing attack they faced. Ohio State didn't have it this year. And shoot, let's go back to the Ohio State game. I mean,
well, look at what Marvin Harrison Jr.
Marvin
did.
Jr. had 118 yards.
And they got two
or
three of those guys. They got three of those guys on Washington.
I think that's the best example of like the closest offense to maybe they faced this year, because Ohio State does have the running back. It has the elite receiver, but that's still not to the same level as Washington. Like Washington is 2, 3, 4 categories above anyone else that they've played in the Big Ten this year. So like while we feel good about Michigan, while they feel good about how good that defense was throughout the season, how good they were versus Alabama, they have yet to face a passing attack that has a first-round quarterback, that has first-round elite receivers. They had obviously Marvin Harrison Jr., but that's just one guy. Now you're going to go against an offense that has 3 of them with a far superior passer. So that's concerning to me if I'm Michigan. Of we think we're really good, but we also haven't faced an offense like this where, as Washington faced a defense like Michigan, maybe not to that extent, but they faced some pretty good defenses in the Pac-12. I know they've handled Oregon.
But they haven't faced a defense this complete. Like I was impressed with the coverage on the back end out of Michigan as well. Going against
more about Washington going against a better defense than we do Michigan going against a better offense.
Let me think. Yeah, I would say that Washington's acquitted themselves better, given what they just overcame against that Texas front seven, though Texas secondary sucks, and they were 2 Oregon games. Whereas the one elite weapon that Michigan faced kind of had success against in Ohio State. And the dirty truth is, like, Alabama's offense just actually wasn't that good this year. But I am still a bit surprised that Jermaine Burton and Isaiah Bond didn't have more success yesterday. And so I would score that. I would score that in Michigan's cap that the coverage was as solid as it was. But I can see what you're getting at there. But if you kind of flip it, so if you say, like, in the same way, Michigan's offense was going against a hyper elite defense yesterday, and they looked very good, and JJ McCarthy looked very good, and they made great plays, and the play design of that rushing attack is a thing of beauty. It's so multiple, and they do so much pre-snap movement, and they get your eyes going all different directions. And McCarthy really has a firm grasp where he's supposed to go with the ball. And so, like, I don't know. I also come out of yesterday thinking that Michigan's offense is going to have a lot of success against that Washington defense.
No, I don't know about a lot of success. I think you're getting trapped into what we've been the issue with Washington the entire year. We keep doubting their defense too.
No, but I'm saying, I mean, like 30 points. I could see Michigan putting up 30 against that defense. Absolutely. And if Michigan's scoring 30, it's, with their defense, they'd have to feel pretty good about it.
I don't think they score 30. I think it's a good Michigan offense. I do think JJ looked really good in the game. I like their running backs. I think their receivers are average. They don't want to score 30. Like they don't want to play that game too. Like let's be honest.
Okay, then
their style of play going against a good defense in Washington, not a great defense, but a good defense, the way they play football, I don't see that happening.
So then forget about the overall score, but I'm talking about, I expect them to have play-to-play success rate that would feel like on par with a different team scoring like 30 to 35. Like I do think that offense, and that's probably their best bet against Michael Penix and company, is to try and control the game, keep Penix and those weapons off the field. I don't know, man. I don't know. After rewatching that Michigan film, I know I was feeling very bullish on the Huskies yesterday, and it's so funny to continually watch them be doubted and the intangibles of DeBoer and Penix and the Huskies win out. But like I said, I think this Michigan team scores very highly in the intangibles department as well, and they just felt so complete. Everybody on the same page, no MAs, overcoming critical mistakes against Nick Saban on that stage, which generally you're not able to do. And so I got to be honest, I don't have a great read on who I'm feeling yet, and I'm going to have to continue to watch film here.
I agree. Like, this is still early in the week, and we have more days to continue to kind of dive in. I think that the overarching theme is what do you in 2023 believe a team needs to look like in order to win a championship? Do you believe it needs a high octane offense with elite receivers and elite quarterback, what we've seen from LSU, what we've seen from Alabama? Or do you think the Georgia model, which has won the past 2 years of elite defense and a good enough offense, is the way of winning a championship. So because that's what we got. We have two teams that are polar opposites.
And
we have elite
two
defense
styles that have run national championships recently.
Yes. I mean, it was, like I said, it was LSU, Alabama with what they did. And then it's been Georgia kind of with their model, which Michigan has kind of built themselves to be the next Georgia. And like, obviously the beat Georgia pair, like that's who they want to be. Yeah. And that's what Harbaugh believed was what it would take to win a championship. And he built that beast, and that beast is primed to go win a championship right now. So it's so different that you just kind of, once again, you have to make the decision. This is the style of a football team that I believe is what wins the championship in 2023, 2024, whatever you want to consider this. And this is the other one. I still lean, and I said this last night on the show, I still lean towards more of the elite offense. When it's humming like that, there's not a defense that has enough good DBs that can slow down that kind of passing attack.
Yeah, but I mean, and I feel you may be in a vacuum, but Michigan's been doing things their own way and just getting more and more successful at doing it that way. Again, they were never supposed to be able to overcome the SEC trying to do so. They stuck with it. They did. And I think this offense gained a ton of confidence for Michigan yesterday. Like, I know a lot of people are talking about, like RBS says, I love Michigan, but I want to call this offense great. I think this offense just kind of did what it needed to do to win all year long. And so it doesn't even in like the offense itself. I don't quite know if they recognize how good they can be, or if they really have to open it up. And it felt like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it would be impossible not to be a member of that offense, and do what you did, scoring in critical times, whether it be at the end of the first half or obviously after the 4-2 at the end of the game, in overtime, to emerge with, you go against that secondary and your weapons actually put up pretty good numbers. JJ McCarthy puts up good numbers, and now you get to go against this Washington defense, which is good, but not nearly on the level of Alabama. Like, I don't know. And again, I love and to be fair, I have not sat down and watched Michigan film all year long until this moment. And I just love their rushing concepts and their play design. And I don't know, man. I think this offense is going to have a lot of success against Washington. And to be fair, I think Washington's going to have more success against this Michigan defense than anybody else has all year long.
I also think that you from an offensive mindset too, heading into a game versus Alabama, where you know that this was going to be a lower scoring game, your defense, you felt pretty confident your defense could handle Alabama. There's a little less stress on your plate.
That's
heading
fair.
into this game, this game versus Washington this week, knowing that, okay, we love our defense. Our defense is the best defense in the country, but this is one of the best offenses in the country. And when they're playing as well as they're playing it, the way they played versus Texas might be the best offense in the country, definitely the best passing attack in the country. It does add a little bit more stress, because I've been in the situation where we faced offenses that do score 40 points. And me heading into the game that week, my mindset was like, we have to match them. Regardless of how good I think my defense is, there is in the back of my mind that this may be a shootout. We have to execute on every single drive if we're going to win this football game. So I think for Michigan, it is a little bit different of a stress heading into this game for them offensively, knowing that, hey, we can't just kind of dick around like we did versus Alabama, which was a good game, but it wasn't like an elite dominant performance on offense.
No, but it's also not like, it's also way better than just the raw numbers look because of the defense you're going against, right? Yeah, like, again, Washington's not bringing any of that to bear, not in the same quality. Like, Brandon Trice is great, or Trice is awesome. And I really like Muhammad on the back end. And again, like everything else in Washington, they just do whatever it takes to find ways to win, but they don't have they just don't have the dogs that Alabama had, that Michigan just got through. And I think you're going to have a JJ McCarthy that's going to be more confident than he's ever been in his entire life, knowing his opportunity is here. This was a big get the monkey off the back game for Michigan, right? This kind of burden that they've been carrying around for years and years now, whereas Washington just continues to ride this just white hot blinding heater.
Two things real quick. One, I'm going to answer a question real quick. Then I'm going to ask you a question. Logan Scarborough in the chat said, do we really expect either of these teams in the title game preseason? I think a lot of people had Michigan as one of the favorites. So yes.
Yeah, we had Michigan all year long until the kind of backslide at the end offensively.
Yeah. And then two, I'll ask you this, because
to be honest about Washington, though, I loved Washington. I did not actually. I thought the Pac-12
they would drop one at some point.
Schedule would just be too hard. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I remember this was 2011. Our goal was to get to Atlanta, like, that's all we talked about was getting to Atlanta. We went 6-7 the year before, and we got to Atlanta. We faced you guys, LSU, and we got our butts beat in. Like, that was our goal. Like, our whole mission that year was get to Atlanta. It wasn't win a national championship. It was get to Atlanta. I'm not saying this is Michigan, but Michigan created a period called beat Georgia. And you and I talked about this last night. Beat Georgia, beat Alabama. It's the same damn thing. They finally beat the SEC team. They finally got that monkey off their back. Is there a mental hurdle of we accomplished what we worked so hard for this entire season, a somewhat of a letdown because you feel like you've hit that peak already?
I think
it's a weird thing to think about.
I think there's potential there, but then I also think there's potential to like come out of that and you've like gone Super Saiyan, like you've evolved, like you broke through and now your third eye is open and you're floating through the air like JJ McCarthy was meditating pregame, only now he's levitating and he has like rocks circling around him. So that could go either way. But certainly what you're talking about, that is also
because
there is potential for that.
Michigan's mindset was the entire year, like, if we beat Georgia, we win a national championship. Well, you just beat Alabama, but you ain't national championships yet. Well, there's still more to go.
And Washington has that super and Michigan's the same way, but anytime you beat Nick Saban in a playoff, it just like feels more like a championship. Washington's just seems so stoic and kind of like, job's not done yet. Kalen DeBoer just got to keep winning. It was a good win. Solid job.
I feel like I'm jumping on Washington now. I'm going to piss off a bunch of Washington fans because I am jumping on Washington.
I started on Washington after watching the Michigan film again today. Oh boy, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna, and then to be fair, I need to rewatch Washington film as well. And so I'll have better takes. I'll say this. Do you have any more takes on Washington, Texas? Now, somebody said, does the coaching in the last 2 minutes for Washington concern you? I don't think the coaching was bad. I think granted, you could have kneeled it, but I think you just got an awful break. Also, is Dylan Johnson out for this game?
I think that's something too that I'll always say a lot of eyeballs are going to be on, like, is Dylan Johnson, who was in a pretty agonizing pain walking off the field, not even walking off the field, being helped off the field.
And he got carded after the game.
Like, to me, that could be the difference. And right now I think what's a 4.5 line on DraftKings. Like, I don't think it should be 4.5, but I do think if he's not playing the game, I would kind of lean a little bit more towards Michigan. If Washington, they're not built to run the football. They don't want to run the football, but
no, they want to run it.
Remember,
they make you fucking run it. They run it 30 times or more in every big game. So they run it.
Run it to run it.
Yes.
They're not expecting to have success. They're just doing it to let you know that they can do it.
Well, you have to respect it. You can't just go full light box because then they can tear you up. Look at what's happened at times when teams have tried that. And I heard I think it was Mike McCarthy talk about this a couple years ago, just about the physical element of running the ball. Like, football's a physical fucking game. Like, there's value just to hitting your opponent. And so if you're willing to just run into a fucking wall 30 times, like, you kind of have to begrudgingly respect that.
Yeah. 100%.
Because this dude's just crazy. He's just tough. He keeps punching the tree. His knuckles are bleeding. He doesn't give a fuck. He just keeps doing it.
Well, I think without him too, I think it turns into Michael Penix then having to feel like he has to do both.
Yeah.
Where we saw that a little bit from him last night. I mean, he's creative in the pocket. He can make you miss one-on-one. He can use his legs to get first downs as well. But if he knows that I don't have Dylan Johnson, I have to be not only the quarterback, but I have to be the running back. I think that does play into Michigan's favor a little bit with how stout they are up front.
Yeah.
But if I'll ask you this, because we love Texas's front seven. We love Texas's defensive line. which is better, Michigan's defensive line or Texas' defensive line? Because if Washington can handle Texas D-line, why can't they handle Michigan's?
Well, that's where it gets kind of interesting. Washington both did and didn't handle Texas defensive line. Like, they didn't run the ball great, but they ran it well enough, and
Yes,
they
which has
pass
been
blocked
their
well
MO
enough.
all
But
year.
a lot of it was Penix kind of beating that front seven. I don't know. It's weird because Texas feels like maybe they have more superstars on the line, but Michigan, and this is probably unfair to Michigan, Michigan just feels so complete. They feel like the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, where everybody knows exactly how they fit into the machine and however all the gears interlock. And to me, that almost probably becomes more effective in trying to shut down Michael Penix from a pass rush standpoint than just one guy winning his one-on-one and getting back there, but Penix able to avoid a throw. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, we got to keep developing these takes through the week. Thank you, Nick, for the $2 super chat. I could not agree more. T-Bob is the media sex symbol, so gorgeous, with a heart emoji. I mean, I agree, dude. I don't know.
How many sacks did Texas get last night? Texas got
zero. But they should have had about 4 or 5. So, I mean, no, dude, this Washington offensive line has given up like 11 sacks in like 15 games. It's unbelievable. So I guess just going off of that, I would bet on Washington being able to handle it. It's just that also Michigan rushed Jalen Milroe better than any team I've seen this year, where Milroe was panicked. He had nowhere to go. It was so they bottled him up.
But once again, like you have to go like that's Alabama.
That was how
though.
it was at the beginning of the year, and then he kind of got away from
all
that.
year. Yeah, Alabama's had issues throughout the year when it comes.
Well, not lately though. Not lately. We talked about form. Not lately.
No, not lately. But it still has shown itself enough to like it shouldn't have been a surprise that those guys, especially the young freshman left tackle, didn't have a great game against probably the best defensive line they faced since early on the season.
I think if we say shouldn't have been surprised, we may be using a bit of the benefit of hindsight, because everybody was giving Alabama's offense a lot of credit, right? Like about how good they had become, dude.
They weren't great versus Georgia. They weren't great versus Georgia.
You ain't got to tell me.
They weren't great versus Auburn.
I agree. I was the one trying to say that we were all overrating Alabama, saying they were going to fucking win. Nick Saban's dicks fucked me so many times that Daddy just he fucking Stockholm syndrome me into having to choose Alabama because I just couldn't get there that he would lose in a playoff. But like I said the other day, like on how they've looked in the majority of the season on a team by team basis, like there was a better argument for Michigan.
Oh yeah.
Now my mentions are just filled with Michigan fans telling me what a dumb fat fuck I am, because they all think that I was the one out here saying that Alabama was just going to like shut down the Wolverines, and I never said that.
The views on the Brooks Austin
no
clip,
Daniel Basham, Saban did not buy me dinner. He just fucked me without lube every year.
The views went from about 200,000 to I think close to 800,000.
No. It was 100 when the game ended. Is at 100,000? Yeah, and now it's climbing towards 1 million.
Yeah, and just people bashing what people believe is T-Bob, and it isn't T-Bob. It's our boy Brooks Austin, who was with us last week.
In the ultimate cruel, ironic twist, you can, as he's shitting on the Michigan offense, you can hear me try to pipe up and be like, no, but I think like JJ was hurt at that time. And then he just keeps rolling, just like steamrolls right over it.
It is nonstop entertainment. I don't know. Like I said, you talk about the confidence of Michigan's offense. I do think you can say the same thing about Washington's offense and their offensive line. An offensive line that had the burden of just being named the Joe Moore award-winning offensive line, and obviously that has not worked out too well the past couple of years for Michigan, who also got awarded that award. Going in against probably maybe the best defensive line in America and handling their business pretty well.
But that's the other thing, dude. Both sides have that irrational confidence right now because Michigan just fucking beat Nick Saban in a playoff.
I know.
Which nobody does. Which nobody does. I got goosebumps. I am so freaking hyped up for this national championship. It is going to be fantastic. It feels new. It feels sexy.
You're so soft. You're so soft. You're like this with LSU too. And obviously you were right about it, but you get so scared of losing.
Alabama?
No, of losing. Just losing that you start to doubt your gut. Your gut has told you Washington all year.
I know.
And now at the 11th hour, you're freaking the fuck out.
No. I would say now, absolutely, the Saban effect got me on the last one, and I abandoned my gut. I would say that my gut on Washington here, although to your point, my intuition last night was Washington. It's man, I don't know. I just watched that Michigan. I'm probably having a bit of recency bias from just watching that Michigan film.
Yep.
And even that probably ties into some sort of Saban effect where, again, like overcoming that element. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have an answer. We'll have an answer with a here in a few more days.
Can we do a poll? Can we do a poll in the chat? Kind of get what everyone's feel is right now. Can we do that, PG?
Yeah, I'd like to see that, dude.
Let's get an initial poll. What a Tuesday post first round. How everyone in the chat's feeling of who should win the game come Monday night.
JT McKay says JJ's underrated because they got him shackled with the run game. When JJ needs to pass the run, he gets it done, throws dimes when he's healthy. I mean, he definitely looked way healthier than he's definitely looked way healthier than he did down the stretch. Like the break did JJ McCarthy very well. Also, I love the picture of him meditating before the game. He doesn't have shoes on. He's sitting there cross-legged under the goalpost. It's like major Jedi energy. But the reason why I love it is because why did the moment never look too big for JJ McCarthy last night? Because he's prepared mentally. Because of that meditation, it's 4th and 2, but he's already visualized the success. It doesn't matter that your back's against the wall. He can make the big plays to make it happen without being overwhelmed. And I think mental preparation and meditation and mindfulness goes a long way in how calm, cool, and collected you saw JJ McCarthy stay throughout that entire game as the tide was turning against them, quite literally. I mean, second half Alabama this year was a different team than first half Alabama, and it looked like that was going to be the case again. And Michigan said, not today, and stuck their foot in the ground and somehow did it. So
everyone has
both teams, dude.
Yeah, no, 100%. It was 2 great games, and you should feel confident if you're fans of both teams heading into the national championship. A little homework for everyone right now: go vote on our poll. Who wins the national championship? Your initial reactions here on a Tuesday. Also, hit the thumbs up button. Go subscribe. 12.5 before Monday. We're only a few hundred away, so appreciate everyone sticking with us this football season. Thank you.
Yeah, hell yeah. Nick, $2 super chat. If Michigan wins, will you spank Aaron T-Bob? I need it. Yeah, we might be together this Friday. Give him a good spanking. Maybe Aaron and Sharon. What do you say? You gonna do a little soft wife swap this Friday? Have you thought about it? Actually, you probably have. What am I talking about? Relax. T-Bob, if you are gonna do the F-Boy fade soon, again, it's gonna be in April. You got to do something else to make up. You're right. If chat wants to give me suggestions of what I owe you, I am fine with that. I do want to maybe do a watch along stream for the national championship. I think that could be a ton of fun. Or I think we are going to do that as long as like we're allowed to. What's the poll early on here saying? 59 Washington, 41 Michigan. Okay. I mean, so there is a baseline element to your point, Aaron, of like who has the best quarterback. Yeah. And best quarterback, best weapons. And that's really hard to shake. But Michigan's been kind of doing it their own way. So, okay, we're starting to get circular. It's awesome. Any more thoughts on Texas or Alabama last night? Like, what does this mean for those programs going forward?
I think the thoughts on Alabama are the same. Alabama's not going anywhere. Nick Saban's not going anywhere. And as long as Nick Saban's the coach, they're going to continue to be in the conversation with a national championship. I think the bigger conversation is still Texas. Like Texas, to me, even losing the game last night, this season has let everyone know that they are more than prepared to jump into the SEC next year and be a tier 1 team. They're more than prepared to be a consistent playoff team. Sark has kind of gone over all the, gotten through all the weeds and the hate and the, you're not good enough discussion to prove that he is a good enough coach to win big time football games. And if you're a Texas fan, then you have to be pumped, man. There's a lot of momentum. Got a lot of great players. Yeah, a lot of players coming back next year. I think they jump into the SEC next year and just kick ass.
Well, and they got a relatively friendly draw schedule wise. Oklahoma looks to be in shambles right now. Quinn Ewers, as we mentioned yesterday, once he gets that consistency down, he's going to be a first round pick. I mean, the touch that he throws the ball with, it's like butter. Like it's like literal butter. Michael Penix has got the same thing, only it's a little sharper. It's a little more dangerous feeling, but Ewers, I mean, those Ewers balls when he's on are just like, ooh, silky, silky smooth. So, yeah, Texas is going to be awesome. I think they make the playoff next year. I think Georgia makes the playoff next year. I think Alabama makes the playoff next year. I think it's just a question of does a fourth team sneak in from the Ole Miss, Mizzou, LSU, maybe now Tennessee in that grouping?
Nico looked
after the
good.
strong Nico look. I mean, the Iowa's defense is supposed to be pretty incredible, right? And Nico looks
strong. I don't think they had the white boy DB playing.
Oh, well, I mean, no shit they lost in. That makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have a white quarterback, how can you win a championship? It's not like every single championship for the past 40 to 50 years has been won without a white corner.
I know.
It's a great point.
I just can't wait that the whole discussion of the NFL of like white, all whites versus all blacks. We do have a legitimate white corner that's going to be in the NFL next year. So
there's one this year. There's Riley Moss from Iowa. He's a backup, I think, on Denver. Yeah,
two Iowa corners. We have two Iowa corners.
Hubert John and Riley Moss. Shout out! Well, that's what's so funny about the Will Compton video when he put that video out there. Yeah. He was basically talking about how, we're probably have to snag that kid from Iowa this year as well. Just gonna have to double up on him. All right, let's do this. I got more bowl thoughts. I want to do some New Year's resolutions for college football teams. But first, let's hear from our friends at DraftKings. College football fans, the championship is here. The DraftKings Sportsbook is making sure you can throw down on the epic showdown for a shot at big bucks, as new customers can score $150 instantly at bonus bets for betting just $5 on the championship game. Okay, so if you've been putting it off, act now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code T-Bob, T-B-O-B. You bet $5 on the championship game. Win or lose, you get $150 instantly in bonus bets. What a win with your friends at DraftKings, because it's more fun when you're in the action. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Promo code T-B-O-B. The crown is yours. All right. LSU beat Wisconsin. We don't have to talk about this a lot, but I think Garrett Nussmeier played very well. You'll see the stat line and see 395 and 3 touchdowns, and that's great. But what you're not going to get from that is the strongest thing that you saw out of the Nuss Bus yesterday was situational football, where you were down 14-0, you come back and tie it up. You get down 28-14, you come back and tie it up. And then getting the ball back with 6 minutes left, down 3, looking at a 98-yard field, probably going to be your last opportunity. He drove him 98 yards down the field, game-winning touchdown drive. So situationally, love the nuts from Nuss yesterday. That said, the LSU defense remains an abject disaster.
Oof.
They let Tanner Mordecai put up 378 and 3 touchdowns on them yesterday. And Tanner Mordecai was awful this year. He had thrown 6 touchdowns in 9 games coming in. So I don't. And they're probably going to bring Matt House back. So I don't know. I would not bet on LSU next year. I think they're like Brian Kelly. The program's moving in the right direction, but losing a Heisman winner, and then with how bad the defense was this year, I think you should be in prove it mode with LSU instead of giving them the benefit of the doubt.
I'm with you, man. And how many of the receivers are coming back too? Like, is Brian Thomas coming back? Is Kyron Lacey coming back?
Kyron Lacey is coming back. Their receivers are going to be fine. They're going to have fucking dogs again at wideout. The offense is going to be awesome again. Great O-line, really good running back room, great receivers. I think
the offense line is going to be great because you still have those 2 freshmen they'll be not freshmen. They're sophomores this year. That will be juniors next year. Like this will be one of the best offensive lines in the country. I think Nussmeier is more than ready to go. Obviously, we saw that versus Wisconsin in the game over the weekend. LSU breeds receivers. It's just the defense. Which
is crazy to say how we've gotten here.
Can the defense make that much? Can the defense make that much improvement from this year to next year to make them more competitive? I don't see it.
A
Not
lot
in
of
this
people in
league.
the chat
Not in this
saying,
league.
Lance Hurd hitting the portal. If you're not an LSU fan, you probably don't know who that is. He's a 5-star tackle that in some limited action this year for LSU looked awesome. But apparently he wants more money than LSU's willing to pay him. And so he is going to go test the market and see if somebody will give him that money.
LSU just got a big 5-star flip from A&M over the weekend.
Yeah, Dominic McKinley, the defensive tackle. They're also going to get that, or it's expected that they're going to get a 5-star athlete, this guy Bussy. And that I already think this is a good class that Brian Kelly's put together in terms of like, you're never going to out recruit Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama. How has LSU won 3 national championships with 3 different coaches? Because they build these classes through Louisiana. And this is a very solid class in that regard. And now you've added the last remaining piece, which were some 5-star power. So we'll see. Again, though, I just have no faith until the defense proves something to me. Like, I'm such a fucking idiot. I legitimately thought the defense was going to play really well yesterday. It's why I gave out LSU -10 as a pick, because I was like, surely this Dairy Raid and Tanner Mordecai, which has been so bad, surely they too can't carve you up. Easy. But I was wrong. I know.
They made it look easy. Where would you put, as we look ahead just real quickly, where would you put LSU in the SEC next year?
I think they're behind all the teams I named. I'd put him
Georgia,
behind the
Alabama,
Big 3.
Texas, Ole Miss. Would you put him behind Ole Miss?
I put him behind Ole Miss, and I put him behind actually. I'd put him behind Ole Miss. I don't think I put him behind Mizzou right now.
Tennessee, Oklahoma.
I put him ahead of Tennessee and Oklahoma. I'm not a big. Well, I mean, I already kind of was an Oklahoma believer, and now I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know what the fuck to make of him. Like, is 10-2 a good year? Yeah, but lost their entire offensive line. They lose their great quarterback. Like, it's like, I don't know. Guys transferring out the wazoo. I don't know what to make of Brent Venables. RC Bateman says dogs will run everybody this coming season. Probably, because I think some of the question marks that I had this year will be solved. Like, Beck with a full year of experience feels like he'll be more prepared for that moment where he maybe fell short in the SEC championship. I
don't know. I think Georgia still has a lot of questions that need to be answered for next year. Receivers.
True.
I think receivers need to be answered. I think defensive line needs to be answered. They just lost 2 of their top DBs. Bullard's out. Tyke left. Kamari's gone. So, I mean, you have to fill out 3 positions on the back end. Like, listen, Kirby's recruited really well, and I'm sure maybe he'll get a couple guys in the portal too to fill those positions. Not like they don't have talent there, but I think there's a lot of
so maybe they're not the right word,
but I think there's still a lot of
they're still clearly like they're
Georgia
as much
they feel a little bit
as any other team.
I feel like they feel a little bit like Alabama did to start the season, minus like obviously like the question isn't the quarterback. The question is a lot of other positions. Like Alabama, we kept saying like they're the most talented team in America when it comes to the blue chip ratio, but we just haven't seen these guys play. They're a bunch of young guys that haven't played a lot of football, and obviously they went out there and won the SEC. I feel like Georgia is going to be very similar next year, where they have a lot of young guys and a lot of key positions that we all know are 4- and 5-star guys, but we haven't seen them play a lot of football yet.
Been real interesting to watch all the tide turn on Jalen Milroe. Tide fans hate him now.
I know.
I think he sucks. They are Jalen Hurtsing that man hard right now. So I'm going to be very intrigued to see how that offseason goes. What would your New Year's resolution for Georgia be? Get weapons?
I don't think get weapons. I'd say get back to. They have some big defensive linemen that talking with the staff they really like, that just felt like they weren't ready to play this year. They need those guys play next year. Like they need the big 320, 330, Jordan Davis type guy that can eat up double teams to allow those young linebackers to kind of run around and make plays. Because I think the linebackers are going to be elite next year, but they got to find some defensive tackles.
Okay. New Year's resolution for Ohio State.
Get a damn quarterback.
Yeah, true. Where are you going to get one from, dude? Running out of time.
Who the hell are they going to get? The portal closes.
Did Cam Ward sign anywhere? Didn't DJ go Florida State?
DJU, Florida State, Cam Ward's going to the NFL, which is fucking crazy to me.
Whoa. Okay. He just said, fuck it. He said, I'm out. Okay.
Yeah. Didn't get enough money, so he's going to go be a 4th round draft pick.
Yeah. What the fuck, dude? Should have gotten paid on both levels. Like, go make college money and then go make like 4th round NFL money. What would you say Ole Miss wants in this new year? I think it's just to like.
I don't think they need anything. Just keep winning.
Yeah, be in the playoff. You know.
Yeah.
You've already taken all the fucking portal gifts, you bastards. For FSU, their New Year's resolution has to just be
get the hell out of the ACC.
Well, yes, actually, but also just like endure, because I am very afraid for my Florida State brethren that the wound that they suffered is so deep and gangrenous, and it's such a body blow. This is like, when like a fighter gets knocked out for the first time, then they're never the same after that. This is that deep level shit. And so if Mike Norvell can keep Florida State relevant and great and winning despite all this shit, then he needs even more credit than he's already getting, because I think that's really hard to do. By the way, Washington out nearly 200 votes, still winning this poll, 59-41. And then finally, New Year's resolution for Alabama. What would you say?
They got to find some receivers. It's been 3 years now since Alabama's had elite receivers on the outside.
You don't think Bond and Burton got pretty good by the end of this year?
I mean, good. I said elite.
Yeah.
When they won championships, they had elite receivers. Even back to when they first started winning, they had Julio. Like Alabama, and I have to go back on every national championship team, but it feels to me more times than not when they were winning national championships, they had 1, 2, if not 3 elite receivers that can create some sort of balance in the offense. They haven't had that in 3 years.
Actually, Ohio State's resolution should be beat Michigan. Like they need to create a practice period called beat Michigan and get it done.
I don't think they will. They don't have a quarterback. I do not feel good about Ohio State heading this year if I'm an Ohio State fan. You do not have a quarterback.
I mean, the pace they've kept up for so many years was so torrid that just naturally they just have to take a step back. And this is it. It's just whether or not Ryan Day can bounce back from this. Sam says Ohio State fans are on the endangered species list. Yeah, it's tough. It's all, even though again, they are like one play away from winning a natty last year, which I know is a full calendar year away now, but like, let's not go too overboard. Maybe,
is Ohio State trending in the right direction or the wrong direction?
No, they're trending in the wrong direction. Absolutely.
They are trending in the wrong direction,
but it's not as dire maybe as you would feel like it is today, is what I would say. All right. We love you so much. Huge thank you to everybody hanging out. Hit the like button. Please subscribe. 12.2. We're looking for 12.5 by the Natty. Let's go. T-Bob Hebert, Aaron Murray. Huge thank you to Pat Gunther, Danny Cardenas, Adam Gracia, Chris Tran. Forgetting someone? Ryan Brumley. Everybody else, Team Snaps. Thank you to Volume, Papa Colin. And y'all have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow for some new snaps.